eyes you have.
What?
What are you doing?
I'm doing the spooky eye thing.
You know they're cross-eyed, right?
What? Hi, and welcome to Crafts by Two. I'm Cyclops George.
And I'm Ken.
Not Cyclops Ken?
No. Maybe Four Eyes. So for Halloween, I made up a simple little garland of eyes. There's regular eyes and cat's eyes or monster eyes. And you can arrange them how you want. And I'm using them as a garland for this. But in the video, when I'm putting things together, I also show you how you can use them as regular window decorations and how you can use both sides.
I think the eyes have it.
And the best part is that this was made with Cricut Basic Shapes. So it's just a circle, and it's a free shape that anybody can use. So I'll show you how you can put it together in Design Space, and then how to put together the finished product.
And it's even something you can do in Cricut Craft Room.
Right. So anybody could do it.
This is a really simple project to set up in Design Space. It's really just working with a bunch of circles. I'm going to go to Insert Images and switch to My Image Sets and search on Cricut. The circle is available in the free Cricut Craft Room Basics, so anybody can make this in Cricut Design Space. When you're given the circle, you have the one pattern and then a drop shadow, which is hidden. We're going to use both of them, so I'm going to unhide the drop shadow and then ungroup them at the bottom. This way I have the two pieces to work with. And really I'm just going to be duplicating the circle over and over to build these eyes for the garland. So for the first one, I'm going to make this the main eyeball, so I'm going to make it white. And then I'm going to go to Edit. I've already worked out some sizes, so doing this at 5.5 inches will fit 4 on a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So there's my main eyeball. I'm just going to send this to the back. And then for the color of the eye, I'm just going to make it green for now, but you don't have to keep it green. You can make these any color you want. You don't have to set the color in Design Space. You can set the color once. You can set the color once to separate it out in the layers, but then you can just arrange your colored paper on the mat when you're cutting it. Or you can use the different colors in Design Space itself if you want to make a lot of these eyes for a project. Now for this one, I've already worked out that 3.5 works good. Now I need one for the pupil, so while this is selected in the layers, I'm just going to come down and duplicate it. And I'm going to make this one black. And I've already worked out, like I said, 2 inches is good for the pupil. If you're going to put these on a window, what you could do is do one of the eyeball, the white layer, and then 2 of the color and the pupil, and that way you could put the color and the pupil on both sides of the eyeball. So if you're putting it on a window, it'll look good from both sides, inside the house and outside the house. I'm going to use these for Garland, so I want a few more circles. So I'm going to select the pupil and duplicate this twice, because I want 2 circles to work with. And I'm going to use these as holes for the yarn for the garland, so I want this to just be about 1/3 of an inch. So I'm just going to position these around the edges. Using the edit dialog, I can adjust the X and Y position, so I'm going to use that to make sure that they line up just right. So the Y on this one is 1.51. I'm just going to click on this and make this 1.51 so they line up vertically. And I think that's pretty good spacing. I can close the edit layer to get out of the way, and selecting one of the holes and the eyeball using the shift key, I've got both of those selected on the layers. Now I can do slice and get rid of that extra piece in the center that we don't need. It's a little hard to see, but now it's gray. I got rid of the extra white piece. Now I can choose the other small hole on the layers panel. I click on the eyeball piece and do slice again. Whoops. So on that piece, I can send this to the back, and now click once on the smaller piece and holding down the shift key, select the eyeball piece again and slice, and again click on the small piece and do delete on the keyboard to get rid of it, and then send this eyeball piece to the back again. And now this is ready to be used for the garland. It'll cut the holes in it for my yarn to go through. You can also do monster or cat-like eyeballs too. I'm going to duplicate a couple of these pieces. So I'm going to take the eyeball and duplicate that, and then take the pupil and duplicate that, bring that over. For the monster eyeball, I'm going to make this background piece yellow, and when I click on it on the design, it highlights it on the layers tab so I know which one I'm working with. I'm going to make this a yellow, and then click on the pupil for that, and it highlights it in the tray so I can come to edit. And what I found works good for this is kind of a squished circle. So I'm going to click on the lock so I can manipulate the width and the height separately. And with the width still at 2 inches, I'm going to make the height 4 inches. So I'm pressing 4 and then enter on the keyboard. And I can close the edit. And now I have kind of a cat's eye monster eyeball. And that's it. It's really simple to kind of make spooky eyeballs for your garland or window decorations or wall decorations. So I can click go. And in this case, I'm just going to do 2 and apply. That way my design has 1 of each eyeball, but now I'm going to have 2 monster eyeballs and 2 kind of regular eyeballs to make. And they each have some black pieces, and then the color for the more human eyeball. The yellow is the background for the monster eyeball, and the white is the background for the human eyeball. Now let's put them together. Here I have a lot of the pieces laid out. I did a number of garland pieces with the holes, plus I did one example of just the plain shape, because I'm going to show you what it will look like from both sides if you're doing for something maybe you want to use for the window. So I'm just going to put a few together quickly, but you can do all different kinds of fun stuff. Like I did some regular eyes, And then I also did some pattern paper to kind of do some crazy eyes. So it's a good way to use up your scraps. And don't pay attention to the poor cut on this circle. That's not the Explorer, that's just this paper. But for a garland, I didn't think using the paper that didn't cut well would be a problem. So these are really quick and simple to put together. And for this one, I'm kind of just doing a direct on stare. So there's one eyeball. But then I can also use the pattern one. And kind of make it like this one's kind of looking off to the side or something. So then I could, you know, just do both of them like that. And just make sure you're not working too quickly. You always want to make sure your holes are at the top. So that kind of gives a look like the crazy eyes are looking off to the side. But let me do one of the monster eyes. The cat eyes. So as you can see, this is a really quick, simple project that you can do with the family. The kids could do it. It's a great way to use up your little scraps of paper, even for the colors. And there's a lot of other little embellishments you can do, like a wink of Stella pen, just to kind of give that little sparkle on the eye to make it look like they're watching you. And that's a little hard to see on the video, but it's getting whiter as it dries. And then for some of the regular eyes, you can also take a red marker, and for Halloween, you can kind of just give it some veiny eyes. And once again, the video is making it a little hard to see that. So there's a lot of fun little things you can do with these. And this one dried a little more, so you can kind of see the specular highlight on that one. So let me quickly show you one of the front and back ones for the window. So for those, I did 2 of the colors and 2 pupils with 1 of the eye. So I just took care of that in the Design Space document. And in the document we're sharing, I gave you a set of each. So there's a regular eye with the holes for the garland, a cat's eye with the holes for the garland, and then one without the holes to use for the windows. And then I gave you the sets of the eyes, and then I gave you an extra set of just the color and the pupil. Once you look at the document, it'll make a little bit more sense. But I grouped everything so you can just delete what you don't want to use and then just leave what you want and use the multiples when you go to cut as many as you want. So let me finish this real quick. So now I'm just flipping it over and trying to put them in the same place. So now when I put this on the window, I'll have it on both sides. So people on the inside of the house and on the outside of the house can enjoy the decorations. Then once you have everything done, you can just take some yarn for your garland. And string it through. And I put it to go behind the eye, so that way it doesn't detract in the front. You kind of want them a little close together, but so when they hang, they're together enough. And I should have put some Scotch tape or masking tape around the tip of this to make it easier to thread everything through, because the yarn's fraying. And for a regular garland, I'd probably space these out a little more, but just so you have the idea. There you go. And that's just a quick, simple project, and it's using free shapes.
Wow, that was a great, easy project, Ken.
It's pretty simple to put together, and you can do it with the family.
You know what that would also be great for?
No.
Making a Halloween background for a picture booth.
Oh, yeah.
You know how I came up with that?
No.
I have eyes in the back of my head.
You know it's only one, right?
What? Hey, Ken, where can people get the file?
Down below in the description is a link to our website where you can get a link to the Design Space file.
It's an awful lot of links.
Yeah.
So remember to click up here and subscribe.
And don't forget to give our videos a thumbs up and share them with your friends. And if you have any comments, we always like to hear from everybody.
If you'd like to support us, remember to check out our Patreon page. The link is down in the description. And if you'd like to see what we're doing when we're not doing cool crafts, check out Between Crafts, our other YouTube channel. So, until next Tuesday, or probably sooner, we'll talk to you later. Bye!
Bye!
What?
I just didn't know what you were doing. Quiet on the set, please.
Oh my God.
And if you have any comments, please leave.
Please leave.
If you have anything to share, please leave a comment on the video. We love to hear from you. And now I have to do it a third time.
Water, clicking.